Hello, everybody, and welcome to our March Founders Call. I'm joined by my partner and CEO, David Brown. Hello, David.
Hey, Ryan. Good to see you. How are you?
You too. I'm doing great. You know, I think we should probably mention, there's a lot of people who are probably watching this Founders Call for the first time ever. We do this each and every month on the 15th of each month. Last month, we didn't do one, so this one's going to be extra long. I think we ought to do it for about 2 hours. I'm just kidding. We won't go that long, but we do this on the 15th of each and every month. And so welcome to the March of 2021's Founders Call. We've got a lot to talk about. We had a great month of February. I think we ought to share some of the highs and some of the things that really inspired us about February. And we'll talk about what's coming up here as we complete the month of March. So David, why don't you take the baton, talk to us a little bit about some of the things that were exciting to you in the month of February and what you're seeing right now in the month of March.
Well, February was a little crazy, which is why we ended up not having our Founders Call. You know, as you'll talk about in a minute, we had a wonderful in-person event, our first one in a long time in Monterrey, Mexico, and that kind of complicated things, but it was a great complication. I'm glad we had that complication because as we get back, and you know, it is wonderful that technology allows us to do things like this and to have meeting. I mean, I love hearing meeting, you know, from you and Francisco and others. You know, you'll talk about these Zoom calls where you have 700, 800, 900 people that were crashing the call. And of course, we're not quite there yet in all the markets, but in those markets like Mexico and Peru and all the Spanish language markets where we've actually been present for a lot longer period of time, it is awesome to be able to have that technology. But of course, there's nothing that replaces you know, nothing that substitutes for an in-person meeting. And especially, I mean, I was jealous when you went down to Monterrey because I love going to those meetings with our distributors down there. I mean, obviously, I don't speak much Spanish. My understanding's improved a little bit, especially as we talk about ACTIVZ products and things like that. But everyone's heard the old joke about, you know, I went to a fight and a hockey game broke out instead of the reverse, where you go to a hockey game and a fight breaks out. But one thing I love about any type of Spanish language meeting is that, you know, you have a meeting and always song and dance breaks out. That's awesome. And so those are the things that are great. But, you know, it's also manifest in the growth. You know, as I look back and people wonder about how the company's doing. Well, it's great to report that, you know, what we did in February revenue worldwide was about 3 times larger than we did last February. Not all companies can report on that. Yeah. And of course, that is simply a result. I say simply, there's really not anything simple about it, but it is the combination of hundreds and thousands of people working and building their own business. Because of course we can't build our business. Our business doesn't grow without many, many, many people doing their part. And I think that's really important to concentrate. You mentioned it in an earlier conversation to me today about how important it is for us to just remember to do our part. And doing our best is always good enough. So that's great. But there are some exciting things. We rolled out our new weight loss and energy product, Arrow. I've got some in my bottle. Yeah, right here. I finally got some. We rolled it out in Mexico last month. There had been people in, I think, all the markets that were able to sample it a little bit early. I've not yet received my canister, even though I know it's going out in the United States. I'm not high enough on the list, but I was able to snag a sample and try it out. And I'll tell you what, I really like it. I've been involved in the weight loss space for a long time with several different companies. And I'm really impressed. I'd love to say that I was a driving force behind the formula, but I wasn't. People a lot smarter than me were involved in this formulation. And we're just hearing some tremendous results, both, I think everywhere. I was going to say both in the United States and in Mexico, but everywhere where people's tried it, they've liked it. It's kind of an interesting, right? I'm not sure what you've been hearing, but I hear things that people are noticing things like appetite suppression and increased energy, which we certainly kind of built in and planned for. But then we hear about people experiencing better cognition, clearer thinking, and feeling like they're losing weight, but also losing inches, and all of those great things. In fact, I've not heard a negative word. I'm not sure, with most products, not everyone has a spectacular experience right out of the gate. They have to kind of stick with it and move it forward. But I'll tell you what, almost unanimously, 100% across the board. In fact, even our advisory board members, of course, people have heard Sinead Irwin talk about it, and she just loves the ingredients. But recently I got this in the mail from Dr. Maroon. He's the team doctor for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it's a terrible towel. The terrible towel goes back to the 70s, back when I first started becoming a Pittsburgh Steeler fan. But the reason I bring it up now is that they had contacted me and said, "Hey, David, what do we hear about? Tell us more about this diet product, and can you send the information?" So I sent information about it. They looked at it and they said, "Wow, we have familiarity with these ingredients. We've used them in some other with some other products, like, for example, when he was on the board at GNC." And he said, now there's also some additional novel ingredients that are really cool. So we want to dig in and learn more about this. And so actually people can look forward to the 4th Tuesday of this month, our regularly scheduled medical forum. And it will be Dr. Maroon and Jeff Boast talking about primarily about Arrow. And they have a lot of background in the science of these ingredients and the science behind weight loss and healthy living and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So anyway, there's been a lot of fun things happen since we last got on the phone and talked with everybody on a founders call.
Yeah, there really have been a lot, and I'm glad that you've got your Arrow there. I've got my Arrow here also. You can't tell by the glass, but I like it cold. Here's a tip for everybody who's just now starting to use it. I try and warm it up in the microwave or heat it up. Or with warm water. It is delicious. That's how I prefer it. And like you said, David, we're seeing incredible results across the board. It's exciting. It really is a metabolic activator and a great member of the, in addition to the trifecta. Hearing you talk about Sinead Irwin, and the coaching that she's doing, it's been fun and very interesting and informative listening to some of the benefits and some of the improvements that people that have been working with her are experiencing, as well as clients and other distributors who are working with Annette Jimenez, who's a nutritionist that works with us down in Mexico, speaks Spanish. And this, I don't know if everyone watching this has seen this, but she's been sending us some before and afters and really treating her clients as case studies with Arrow. And you mentioned inches, and what Annette shared with me in a conversation, she said, "Ryan, it's interesting. The ones who are seeing the earliest results are actually some of my men, and it's not necessarily in weight, but they are losing size or losing inches." So just stay tuned, everybody, for more of that. And I would say, and actually I want to issue you a challenge. We want to hear from you when you're using it and you're getting back in the saddle and exercising a little bit and eating right and using Arrow. We would love to see how your life is improving. We'd love to see some of the improvements that you're making. So don't be shy. If you don't want to post them to Facebook, just let us know. Send it to our email address at contact@activz.com. You can also upload them, of course, to our Facebook page. You can send them privately to us. But the more we see, the better. And we are just getting right now, we haven't even had it out for 30 days in the US, and already everybody's talking about it. So that's exciting. David, I want to make a couple of quick announcements because we're making some changes starting this month. If you're watching this, go to your calendar, pull it out, because every Wednesday for the last year or so, we've been holding US English update calls Wednesday morning. We are now beginning, starting on the 17th, we will doing our Wednesday update calls beginning at 12 noon Mountain Time. So 12 Mountain Time, make sure you schedule it. We think that we're going to it'll be easier for people to get on. And every week you're going to hear from a distributor sharing a business tip of the week. You're going to hear from us talking about what's going on in the universe of ACTIVZ. And so make sure you do that. Another point that I want everyone to be mindful of, is we're updating our calendar. So today there's a calendar and you can go to different countries, see what's going on in Peru, see what's going on in Mexico, see what's going on in the US. And that's been a little bit of a challenge, I think, for many of our ACTIVZ distributors to know what's going on and to find Zooms and meetings that they can send people to. So what we're doing is we're consolidating. We're going to have just one calendar where everything is going on there, and it's going to be delineated on language, not by country, just by language. We know that the US, there's a lot of Spanish speakers as well, so you'll see them color coded, but that's going to be a lot easier to use and a lot easier to know what's going on. And all of that said, I encourage all of you to make sure that you know what live Zooms we have going on, because really Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Thursdays and Wednesdays and Tuesdays now, there is something that you can get plugged into. And David, you and I were talking not too long ago, just before this call, the importance of staying plugged in. And really, you know, I wish I could say that people were more connected and seeing each other, but we're still not there yet, right? We're still being quarantined in many places, but being connected virtually is critically important. It is so important for our emotional and mental health, as well as for our business success, right? Just to be able to hear from the leaders, hear success stories, hear what's working, to hear user testimonials and experiences. So please, if you're watching this Founders Call, make a goal to attend these live Zoom presentations, and most importantly, get your team on them. You know, David, I'm going to throw it back to you. What are you seeing in the month of March? What are you excited about this month? That you know, March is obviously a longer month than February. We're moving solidly into spring. What are you hopeful for? What are you looking forward to? I know we've got some plans coming up later this summer, but why don't you tip your hat a bit and let people know what's coming down the pipeline?
Well, I'm an example of that is I got a text from Stu Carvalho, who lives in Hawaii, and he works with US distributors as well as Japanese distributors. And he sent me a text Tuesday night from one of our leaders in Japan named Amada-san. And you know, Japanese have really had a hard time coping with COVID. Other countries, Mexico, Peru, the US, we've kind of, you know, people have said, okay, this is a different way of having to live and having to conduct our business, but the Japanese have just really not embraced the Zoom technology and really plugging in and taking advantage. And that's not just true of ACTIVZ, that's true of, I know Japanese who are involved in all types of business with the United States, and I hear the same thing. But Amada-san said this, he said, "Imagonin ga 8 de ugoite imasu," which means I've got 5 people who are really running hard to get hit 8. And that's awesome. That means that they're going to be qualified for what you just did down in Monterey for the ACTIVZ Academy. It really helps kickstart the business. And you know, we talk in the US about the weather in March, whether it comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb or vice versa. But I see us from an ACTIVZ standpoint coming in like a lion and going out like a lion. And I think there's going to be a lot of exciting things. We've got new people joining. We've got all these new things to talk about in terms of Aero. And I you know, I just want to kind of go back and talk a little bit about what you just said in terms of plugging in. You know, if we use exercise and trying to lose weight as an example, have you noticed that, Ryan, that, you know, like the Peloton and Tonal and all these really expensive weight loss equipment that people get at their home, okay? Yeah. So they're interested in having a home-based exercise program, okay? And people as distributors are interested in having a home-based business. Okay, great. So we've got 2 things, home-based. But then what do they also add that is most of them offer a subscription, so that as you're exercising, you're not exercising by yourself. You're following a program. You're with a group that might be worldwide. You know, you're watching them on a screen. You're watching there. And why do they do that? Well, they do it for a couple of reasons. One, they want to get the money from the subscription, but they also know it's tried and true that if you are working with people who are helping you get excited and stay involved and reminding you of what you need to do, in this case, get on the bike and pedal or do whatever, it will really help increase. And the more often you do it, the easier it gets to become a habit. And then that's when you really see the results occur. And I think it's a perfect example for what you were just talking about. You know, we have videos, we have lots of videos. We have things that people can plug into virtually on a daily basis, maybe not quite daily, but between what corporate sponsors and what their groups are doing, you know, there probably is something almost on a daily basis. And it will help them get in the habit of building their home-based business. I really like, and I say this a lot, what Ray Kroc from McDonald's used to say, that you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And one thing that I think really people can plug into this month is that we've got products that cover almost every aspect of your life, not quite everything, but you know, you can lose weight, you can look better on the outside, you can feel better on the inside. But wouldn't it be kind of a waste if a person only knew about one of our products? Let's say all they knew about was Aero. And so they had a great experience, they lost weight, they got in better shape. And then 5 years later, they find out about all of the benefits that they could have had from the trifecta, all the benefits that they could have had from Emora. And they're thinking, man, why did I just confine myself to that? Well, the same thing's true of just trying to do everything on your own. It's not easy, you know, and there's so much more out there as you plug in and embrace the group and what other people and learn from them. So I think that that's just really great advice. I think you're often, Ryan, fond of talking about planting seeds that will sprout and give forth fruit later on. And the spring is a perfect time for that. This is a great time to get out there. You know, we've made our New Year's resolutions. We're either keeping them or already failing in them. Yeah. But it's still a great time for a fresh start. We're shaking off the doldrums of winter in many places. And I just think it's just a really exciting time to get increasingly activated. And the best way to do that is, you know, you can't expect benefits from the product if you don't take them, and you can't expect to build your business if you don't do that every day as well. And being part of the group is a surefire way of helping you do that.
Right. Absolutely. Well, great. Thank you, David. I agree with everything that I hear you saying. You know, I want to, you know, one thing that I think we should mention is we're going to be doing a live broadcast here in just a few months. We want it to coincide with when we did it last July. So look forward to that. We're going to be putting some more things on the schedule as well. We've been discussing with the Field Advisory Board here in the United States potentially some in-person activities. So make sure that you stay tuned. We don't have a date, so I'm not going to give any proposed date. We are looking at July though for the live broadcast, which will be a global broadcast from the ABC studios, which will be exciting. You know what I want to share? I want to share something that I'm just really kind of keen on right now, David. I wanted to talk mostly today about my experience down in Monterrey, Mexico. We had an ACTIVZ Academy, which meant they were for people that hit A8 and maintained. We paid for them to go to this training to help them go from mid-level to upper level in the ranks. And then we also had some open tickets. And so we were able to sell those. And it was a packed house. Legally, we could only have 140 people there. So we had 141. I think we had just over 140 people. It was a remarkable experience, and I want to share this with everybody today. The content was tremendous. Lucy Serra, Noemi Garcia, and Martin Lida, you know, A15, A13, A12, they shared some incredible training. We had a personal development coach at her company there, but the focus was really on team. And it got me thinking more about the importance of being connected, like David, what you were just talking about, and the importance of learning how to work on a team, right? Be there for other people, right? Show up for other people, not just expect them to be there for you. And so I'm going to share my screen real quick. I hope that you can see this, David, and everybody watching this can see this as well. This is a picture of one of the activities that we did outside the presentation room in the afternoon. Adriana Jacobo, who's this personal development coach, and her group called Emotion Group, took us out, divided us into small teams. Now, what you're looking at here is you're looking at from left to right. You're looking at Mercedes Bencomo. You're seeing Pedro Palacios. There's Marta in the middle. There's Adriana behind her, and on the far right, that's Suka. And there's some other people there on that team, and we had probably 25 different teams just like this. The ball represents the dream, right? What you hope to accomplish in life, what you want out of life. You know, ACTIVZ isn't the end, it's the means. right? It's not the top, it's the vehicle to get you to the top. And so that ball represents Marta's dream, right? What she really wants: time with her family, better health, make a difference in the world, time to spend with her parents, to travel, whatever her why is. And she is placing that, you can't really see it, in the middle of a plate where there's other people's dreams there represented by the ball. Now, the rule is you cannot step inside this circle, this area that's taped off. You have to somehow figure out a way with your team to get your ball to the center of the plate. And so what you see here is Pedro and a bunch of people behind her holding her. What they eventually did is essentially laid her horizontally, and she's able to place that. And so in other words, she was able to accomplish what she set out to, but only working with a team. Now, they say that a picture is worth 1,000 words. And this picture for me is worth 1,000 words, David, because you look at their eyes, and the first thing I noticed is that, well, it wasn't the first, but it's one of the things I noticed, they're not looking at her. What are they looking at? They're looking at her ball. They're looking at where they're placing it. In other words, this is metaphorically speaking, they're focused on her dream, on helping Marta reach her goal. They're not looking at her. They're looking at where she's going, at what she wants. And to me, this is what a team is for. This is the purpose of the team. It's not to look at you and to use you for what you bring, for what you offer, but a good team and good leadership is there to know what you want out of this and to work with you to help you achieve that. And I don't want to sound too cliche or too simplistic in this, because this is really, in my mind, a very profound concept. And if I'm able to advance here, there's a couple other pictures, right? There's some more pictures of the same thing. They're looking at the dream. They're focused on the dream. And I want to share this because this really made an impression on me, David. And I left this event just feeling on top of the world, having reconnected with great friends, old friends. In some cases, I met some new leaders, people that are now A10s, A11s, who, they just joined 5 or 6 months ago, never met them. But this exercise in particular underscored what we do at ACTIVZ. And I want everybody to think about this and ask yourself, Kennedy said to ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And I kind of want to take that and twist it a little bit and say, ask not what your team can do for you, but what you can do for your team. And I would challenge all of us, everybody listening to this, myself included, that if we ask ourselves, what more can we do? How can I be a better member of my team? How can I show up better for the people who are around me and with whom I interact? And how can I make their goals my goal? How can I make their why or their dreams my dream? If we do that, in my experience, and I'm not making this up, in my 25 years of working in this industry, in my experience, that's how you reach your goal. That's it. That's the secret sauce right there. You help enough people get what they want, and you'll get what you want. And it's not that secret, but we forget it. And so that physical, that activity, that exercise that we went through down in Monterrey, Mexico, reminded me of that, David, and it was really poignant. And I'm getting chills just thinking about that. I think about the people who are really growing right now, like really cranking. We have some great pockets of growth that are essentially lifting the whole company. I wish I could say it was everybody. It's not everybody, but it is. We have these pockets of growth which are causing our company to make great strides month over month in terms of growth. And what are they doing? Is it that they are particularly charismatic? Do they, in Spanish is a word, hablar bonito? Do they speak well? No, right? They're not people who have any kind of advantage, right? And I know that the tendency is to assign that to other people. Say, oh, well, they come with this. They're bringing a group over. They know, they're doctors, or they're, we tend to handicap ourselves and overly give too much credit to other people. Or we give them an advantage in our minds anyways, but that's not true. We are all the same, folks. The people who are growing are the people whose leadership is focused on their team members reach their goals, and that's it. And I'll tell you the difference in 25 years, David, with working very closely with people who make it to the top and thousands of other people that I've worked with over the years that don't make it. It has a lot to do with their team. Are you part of a team? Is there cohesion? Is it fun? Are you having fun together? Is there a lot of support? You know, we're not in this for ourselves. And I think that a distributor oftentimes thinks that they're signing up for themselves. The quicker you start thinking about other people, meeting someone, finding out what they want, and then help them get what they want, you're going to find how interconnected we are and how success is predicated on that interconnectivity, being interconnected with other people, and again, helping lift all ships, to mix several metaphors. So that's my takeaway, David, for, you know, and I'll say that that's been really my focus on the month of March. I can't wait for this upcoming event in July. I can't wait to our upcoming event in person. We have an upcoming Punta Cana, Dominican Republic trip that's taking place in April. That's, you know, based on, you know, a lot of great accomplishments over the last year. And we're just in the right place at the right time. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else than right here with all of you. And David, I'm going to give you the last word, you know, but this is what I'm excited about.
That's great. I'm excited. I'm about ready to run out and run through a brick wall. Those pictures, even though I've seen them several times now, you're right. I wasn't even there. And it sends a chill up my spine. And it's really cool. And I think you're exactly right, Ryan. I don't think there's anything that better illustrates the concept of what you're just talking about. You know, in kind of quote traditional business, when you have a job and you're working for somebody else, how many times do people get discouraged saying, I'm working hard with a lot of other people so that somebody else can realize their financial dream, so that they can do this. I'm pretty much stuck where I'm at, and yeah, I'm glad I have a job and all that kind of stuff. But really, when you think about it, this industry in particular, you know, it's not sales. It's about building a team and building a group. And in sales generally, you know, it's kind of like, I've got a bag of bricks on my back that I got to get rid of for me to benefit. And so as fast as I can put my bag of bricks onto your back, I want to try and do that. And this is just the opposite. This is like saying, okay, I see that there's a bag of bricks on your back. I want to help. I want to take some of them, because as I help you grow, as I said earlier, we cannot grow. No individual can grow without helping other people. And you're right. I mean, it's often been said that success leaves clues. And so that those people that are building and successfully achieving the goals in this, in our business and other walks of life, are probably following a very similar formula, in the fact that they have steady, consistent conduct. They're doing things that other people won't do and don't want to do because it's too hard, it's not very appealing. And then they're really being part of a team, and they're working together, and they're not just relying upon whatever attributes and characteristics they have. They're able to tie in and get truly the synergistic benefit of everyone's activity. And I'm glad Pedro looked pretty strong there. I'm glad he didn't let her go. But it wasn't interesting that, again, they weren't focused upon the individual. They were focused upon that individual's goal. And your picture says 1,000 words, and that was awesome. So I'll just add my voice to yours. We're glad that all of you are part of our team. You can count on us to help you in any way that we can. As things have been lifting and restrictions on travel are lifting, we find ourselves available to do some things. I'm going to be in Phoenix next week and having some meetings there with some of the people down there. We're going to be on some radio stations and some other things that are kind of exciting. But as exciting as those things are, they really take a back seat to getting together with your team, staying in touch, plugging in and working together. And so we look forward to seeing everyone. Ryan, thanks. Great job in Monterey, and you're doing a great job in all that you do. I'm proud to have you as a partner. Glad that we're in this together, and like you, there's no place I'd rather be. So have a great month, everybody. Look forward to seeing you again soon.
All right. Thank you, David. Take care, everybody.